I'm so excited to have you on the pod today. You know, I'm a huge fan of yours and I'm just obsessed with your content. And I've been dying to do this for so long. So I'm so excited to be
I
here.
I can't believe that that's the case, and I'm so excited to be here. So thank you for having me.
I really love what you do. I think from like so many different angles. One, I love your relationship with your daughter. I love that like fashion brought you guys together. I love your personal style. So many things I'm really excited to get into today. So thank you again for taking the time. So I woke up this morning and being in LA, my one qualm with it is that I'm so far behind from like everything else in the world. Like I lived in New York and that was amazing. And I felt like I was like right in the middle in terms of the time zone.
Right.
And LA is so hard for me because I'm like, people are going, like
I
life is happening.
It's so
I'm just
true.
opening my eyes. And this morning was the quintessential experience of that. Waking up to this like fabulous getting ready video that you were like getting ready to go to Liv's podcast. And I was like in bed and I was like, is she ready? Is she like ready to go? It was really
That must have been a little jarring. Like, wait a minute, how is she like getting there dressed and I'm not even awake yet?
not even conscious.
Yeah.
I'm not even conscious. That's my one thing with living in LA. But because of that, I love your outfit. I
Thank
need you
you.
to tell me what you're wearing today. I'm so glad that you dressed up for the pod. It always means the world for me when people do.
Of course. It must I was thinking, I'm like, maybe it's just that it's an older thing, but I don't know. Like, I like to dress up for things, interviews or things like this. It's just what you do for me. But yeah. So
I completely agree. I think that's just nice. Dressing up for me is like what determines my mood. Like
Yeah.
I'm feeling like I'm waking up and the day sucks. I'm putting on something good and the day is healed.
That's right.
Everything's fine.
That's right. This is true.
Okay, talk me through the outfit. I know you're in a dress, you're in a jacket, you've got some accessories.
I am. So I have a dress on. I don't know how Lena Hoshek, something like that.
Find it.
It's a dress. It's kind of cinched at the waist, and then I have a soft goat navy jacket. I'm feeling navy again. I for so long I did not love navy. It just reminded me of my parents. I don't know. It just seemed preppier or something, but now I kind of am really loving navy. I don't know. I have like my grandmother's jewelry on. Her
Beautiful. Some pearls.
pearls.
Stunning.
Yep. You know, just some flats. No
Oh,
big deal. Yep.
that's so interesting what you said about navy because I completely agree.
Really?
Yeah, completely agree. I never had a single navy thing in my closet
Right?
until this year. And it always reminded me of, I don't know, it felt like a defunct color.
Literally. It's like every bridesmaid at some wedding would be a navy, and you're like, oh no, like it's too safe.
It just felt very professional.
Professional. Safe, professional. Yes.
Yeah, and kind of bland. I didn't have anything navy, and now I want all the navy things. Like,
Same.
I just got a pair of navy pants. I have a navy sweater. I don't know. I also think right now Navy's having a little bit of a renaissance. Like, I think I'm seeing it so much more in fashion than I ever have,
Okay.
especially with unique pairings. Like,
Yes.
I saw someone wearing a beautiful navy dress the other day with like a little pink cardigan, and I thought it was so cute.
Love.
And I, for fall, I'm loving mixing like navies and browns. Like even your setup right now with the navy jacket and the brown background, I don't know why tonally I feel
Okay, but
inclined to it than ever.
I know, I do love it.
I've been having this internal discussion with a lot of people in my life if leopard is trendy again or if it's just always a neutral and just
Always.
exactly.
It's always. Because so I feel like a lot of what I feel about fashion is the way I feel about interiors as well. So for me, for interiors, it's just always like certain animal prints, they're always a thing in interiors. So it's the same for my clothing. So I think it like got popular, but it's not like it's not a thing. It just
I
can't
think it's
go
just
out.
like an item that you either are, it like sits in your closet and every once in a while you decide to pull it out.
Yeah.
But I like get frustrated when I see it's like leopard's trending. I'm like,
No. I mean, I have a leopard ottoman, and I have a banquette that is a chocolate brown and cream zebra stripe. So I can't really like that lives in my home. So none of it is trending, I guess, for me.
I love that.
Yeah.
I've seen like little glimpses of your home on
Little-
social and I'm obsessed.
It's-
in my If I could just drop everything right now, I'd be like on the East Coast, living in your house.
Yeah,
Not
it is
for
an
anything.
East Coast. It is an East Coast type house. It is.
I love hearing the way that you talk about colors and prints. And something I really love talking about on this show is what goes through everyone's minds when they're getting dressed every day.
Hmm.
A lot of the times for me, there's like sometimes it's an item or sometimes it's just like a vision that of a way that I want to feel.
Hmm.
What is it for you? Are you starting with a piece? Is it based on your mood? Tell us a little bit about how you get dressed every day.
I mean, I would say all of those, definitely. Weather, how you're feeling, all of those. I think, but if there's a common thread, because I think this might be more helpful, that runs through everything, which is it doesn't matter if I'm getting dressed up. It doesn't matter if it's a casual day. My ethos probably is that I don't want it to be too precious. So it doesn't mean that it's not that I'm comfortable all the time. I hear a lot of people say like, oh, I just want to be comfortable. But yeah, I would love to be comfortable, but my heels there's just no way that they're comfortable. They're not comfortable. I love them and I'll wear them, but they're not, that's not my idea of comfort, but I always want to feel like the outfit is not so precious that people look at me and it feels like it's too detached, I guess. It's a strange thing, but I just don't like it. Like if something does feel a little bit precious, something has to be messed up with it. So I have to push up the sleeves, or my hair has to be a little bit disheveled. Like something has to be a little off to make me feel a little more comfortable. So I don't know. That's just can't be perfect. I don't like perfect.
But I really like that. And I think that's why, like, as a viewer of your content, it resonated with me because most of your videos are OOTD videos.
Right.
And on a daily basis, aren't we all a little disheveled?
Yeah.
It's hardly ever perfect.
Right.
And obviously, the content of like, getting dressed up to go out or getting dressed up to go to a wedding, all that does well and it's fine and it's great.
Yes.
But I think for a daily basis where we're really getting that fashion inspiration is what feels most realistic to us.
Right.
Is that like the rolled up sleeves and like the shirt sticking out of our pants a little bit and the multiple different layers because it's cold, but then it's like hot in the office or vice versa.
Totally.
So I've always found that that's what resonates most for me with your content. It feels like I can watch it and be like, okay, I have some version of that in my closet.
Yes.
And I think I could go do that now.
Yes. Good. I love that. I had someone saying like, it's a comment, if you don't have the links, like what's the point kind of thing. But I don't really I want to, it's an inspo. Like I would actually prefer not to be selling stuff is not my goal. I want it to be, just take this, and if it inspires a little bit or something that you have, or you can feel comfortable wearing that skirt even though you're 50, whatever. That's more what I get excited about. It's not really, copy paste. It's just, which is fine too. I mean, I try to provide, make it easy for people. Whatever. But I do try to just make it that it's accessible. There's an accessibility.
The other day I was on TikTok and I saw a stylist who I love to follow actually post a video exactly about this. And she had the opposite perspective. She was like, if you're an influencer or you're a style content creator and you're not linking or tagging brands, don't you feel like you're doing, like, what's the point? And there was a lot of commentary in the captions being like, I think people want engagement because they want people in there being like, what's the jacket? What's the shirt? But I do think that there are two very valid sides, which is one, I've always had a hard time with this idea that you go on Instagram, you see an outfit, and we're so easily able to just go and recreate it now.
Right.
Kind of spark of inspiration of fashion
Right.
really there for us. Like,
Right.
what really feels inspired in fashion right now?
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
It looks
Right.
kind of all the same.
Right.
And do I think that that's like a trickle-down effect of us like linking, here's how to get the look.
Right.
I really appreciate your perspective, which is that like sometimes it's just not about the links. Sometimes it's just things that I've had in my closet.
That's what it is. It's sometimes I just don't have it. It's not that I will provide it. I will always provide it. I remember when Ella and I started doing this and we were just like, this is by this and this is by this and this is by this. And people kept saying, I love that you don't gatekeep. We had no idea what they were talking about. I didn't even understand the concept. Like, happy to share. Like, it's all in the, I finally did the shop my and Lincoln by, like, I'm happy to provide all of them. Like, here it is. I don't want to make it difficult. I want to make it easy. But sometimes it just isn't available. Like you said, it's just an old thing that, you might have similar, and it's just for inspo sometimes. But so
that's why I said, like, I appreciate that side of it too, where it's like, here's the idea, make it your own.
yeah,
I
right.
posted something this morning that was like jeans and a button down with a sweater over it. And I like pulled the cuffs out. And it's like, I don't think I tagged everything in that, because it's like, I don't need to tag the striped button down shirt. Like,
Right.
go find one and make it your own.
Right.
It's just like a mold for you.
Right. You know what I find?
You have in your closet.
You know what it is for me? I don't want people to think that I'm trying to sell them something. So it's such a like, it's like, here, I want to help you. I totally will give you the link, but I don't want you to think that I'm just putting this up here because I want you to buy it. I just want to be helpful. I don't want to
cater to all the.
I know. It's true. That's exactly it.
Your OOTD videos are, for me, like a masterclass in branding. I really appreciate when I find a creator who has something that is engaging enough that it never gets old. And it truly never gets old. Like, I know your background. I know you're like against that like white door.
I know.
You're in your bathroom, or
Yeah.
that's your closet.
Yeah, it's my bathroom.
But it never gets old for me. And I always appreciate that. That's the format that I know that I'm coming to find on your Instagram.
Okay, that's good, because I do get sick of it. I'm like, people just can't want to see this. Like, nobody wants to see me getting dressed in my bathroom again. But then
No, we're here.
Okay, all right.
I'm a fan, and I can say that keep it coming. I'm not sick of it. But to make you feel better, I do feel the same way sometimes about my own content.
Okay.
Like, no one wants to see me in my closet or in like the archway.
Right. Like, but okay.
I can't have multiple homes, and like this is it. Yeah. This is it, guys. But I want to hear a little bit about the origin of that, and I would love to hear a little bit about the origin of your OOTD videos.
So Ella, it's just funny because Ella had completely gotten off of TikTok, had gotten off of it for a year. Just felt like, I think during COVID, she was on it so much, and she just sort of just enough was enough, right? So she got off of it, and then she just sort of on a whim got back on. I think did a random video, and then it was the trend, the pantry, like show your mom, or show your pantry and show your mom or something. So I was going to a meeting, and she just sort of caught me off guard. Mom, like, come here. And I turned around, and she's like, just stop. And she took like a video. It was so awkward. It's so bad. But, and for whatever reason, people, what's her coat? What's mom's this? What's mom's that? Show mom's outfit. Like, oh my God, like, what's the fashion happening here? So that's literally Ella. I think a few days later, Mom, like, let's just do an outfit of the day. And she just did it in the bathroom, kind of the way she just sort of, shirt, shoes. I just named everything. It was very embarrassing. I just went along. But then it was so bizarre how it kind of took off. It was such a baby step for me, because I was the mom who wouldn't take pictures of herself. Like, I didn't have any pictures of myself. The concept of a selfie was just gross to me. It just is not. I think, like, when I grew up, it would be embarrassing if you were caught taking a picture of yourself. It's ick. I don't know. And so it took me a while of her really pushing to kind of get me out of my comfort zone.
I think that there's a very big misconception with social media and it being somewhat of a vain career. I think there are so many creators out there that are really value driven, and it's really about helping and giving inspiration. But I always hear that chatter in the background, and it's so interesting to be talking to you about kind of having to break that mold for yourself. I feel that way all the time. I'm like, if I have to ask like a friend or my husband to like help me take a picture, I'm dying inside.
Dying. Yep.
But
yes,
it's part of the grind, and it's part of what helps us be creative, and what helps us actually help our communities as well.
Right.
So it's definitely a double-edged sword.
It is.
But I love what you do, and I get so excited every time I see one of your videos because for me, it's inspiration, and I know for so many others that do it as well. So I'm really glad you got over it.
Thank you. I think what pushed it over the edge was a lot of it was a twofold of women that were more my age, so in their 50s, saying, okay, I'm kind of feeling like I can do more. Like, you're giving me inspiration to just be more me, like who I was and who I know I can still be. But I kind of had this, oh, I'm in my 50s. I guess I can't do that. Like they had sort of these, I don't know, preconceived notion of what 50 looks like. And then I had younger women, interestingly, that are in their 20s and 30s who, you guys are really afraid of getting old. I don't know. There's some weird thing happening. Like they're very afraid. They're like, I'm petrified of getting old. So you're making me feel better about getting old. So I have these like two demographics going on. So it did feel really helpful. Like I felt like I was putting something out there that was of value. So that did help me get over my fear. Because it was rewarding to be like, no, because I love to be the one that's like, I love doing other people's makeup, getting ready for prom. You know, I like getting them dressed up. Like, that's so much fun to me. So it felt like that on a bigger scale.
I'll speak for myself as a 30-year-old who maybe is in that pool and did feel your content be impactful in terms of any sort of maybe ageism in fashion. Let's
Right.
say that maybe that's the thing.
Right.
And I'm not afraid of getting older, but I am afraid of the idea that as you get older, your style has to change. And I wonder what that feels like for you as someone who's completely defying that. Because to the point of what you were saying, watching your content made me be like, oh, I can do this forever. Like,
Yeah.
I can dress the way I want forever. And
Yeah.
like, I can wear the cute dress and I can wear the bold print jacket and I can wear the heels and the jewelry and like no one's going to stop me.
That's right.
So I want to hear a little bit about how you feel when you hear that phrase.
Right.
As you get older, you need to quote unquote tone it down.
Well, it's interesting because I heard that from my mom, actually. My mom was very much, I mean, I'm like Boston, which is inherently a little bit more conservatively dressed. I grew up with, at a certain age, you cut your hair. At a certain age, you don't wear skirts that are above your kneecap. There are certain colors you don't wear. You don't like, there were a lot of rules around what is appropriate dress. And it was actually my mother-in-law who is from Sun Valley, Idaho. She has hair that is down like Ella's hair, but she's in her 70s now, and her hair is long. She wears a lot of chunky jewelry. She's still wearing heels. I mean, it just threw everything completely opposite of what I was always told. And so she really was kind of this inspiration for me in this hands-on. I met my husband. We started dating when I was 20. We met in college. And she was like this creature from, I didn't even know where because she's in Sun Valley and they were in California a lot. She always seemed to have a tan. I mean, she was just like this just amazing creature. So, and through the years, she never gave that up. Like she has a signature look and she has stayed with it. And she always had sort of this, exercise. She climbs mountains. She just does everything that I'm doing still, that Ella does at 20. So it really was her, I have to say. She was just like, why do I have to cut my hair? I don't have to cut my hair. Like, I love my hair. So it was seeing it in real time that was the inspiration for me that I got to see. So that was it.
I think it takes one person.
It's one person. Yep.
And you're that one person for so many people. What a rewarding thing.
And there are I feel like there are way more because of social media. You now see a lot of, 50-somethings that are, I think, doing that. They're, we just get to see more of them. I think they were always out there. We just didn't see them.
I always talk about, too, I think her name is Grace.
Yes,
Grace.
Grace. Grace, yes.
It's Grace, right?
Yes,
That's
it
how
is
you say
Grace,
it. Yeah.
yes.
But it's spelled
It's
G-R.
Gre. I always want to say Greachy, and then it's Grace, I guess.
Okay,
I
I'm glad.
actually
I'm glad
sat
we
next
put
to her,
that.
and I was fan. She's so fabulous.
I saw her at the Hermes show from afar in Paris, and I was like,
She is. She really is. I sat next to her when we were in Copenhagen, and I literally died. My seat is next to hers.
she's amazing.
She is.
She's got this like fabulous white hair, and like I love her style.
No.
And I love that she posts what I'm not sure how old she is, but she's posting in a bikini on.
No, literally, no. Yes. That's my mother-in-law. She still wears bikinis. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to do that, but I love that they are and that I can if I want to.
I mean, she looks amazing.
She does.
She's one of my favorite follows.
Yeah, same.
And there's another one, I think Ren Raina is her name, and her Instagram is Ben's wife.
Same. Yep. Met her, talked to her. She's lovely too. Lovely.
So lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love your age group is following these women. That's what's amazing to me is that, see, I think for me, it's important I never talk about age really because I sort of feel like I don't want I don't want it to be a crutch. Like, oh, she looks good for that age, right? I want it to be see, I think those two women that you just mentioned, they just have they have great style. They have great ways of putting clothes together. So regardless of their age, it's not even an issue. It's like, it's irrelevant, which I think in the end is kind of the point. It's like, should be the point, you know?
I also love seeing people that are older than me thriving in this career.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
I only got on Instagram when I was like 20, and
Wow.
every day since then, I've had people in my ear being like, "What's the longevity of this?" Or like, "How long are you going to do this for?"
Oh,
and
forever.
Yeah, like it's very inspiring for me, and it gives me a lot of hope, and it makes me excited.
Yes, that is
So I
great.
think for me, it's a deeper level of seeing women older than me thriving,
Right. And on
whatever they want.
No, I think honestly that is what made this happen because I think that really is it. I think that's what hit for people. It was the relationship with Ella and myself, and just that added layer of inspo hit a nerve. I don't know.
I'm curious, something that I hear a lot from people in my life, because they'll come to me for style advice or fashion advice, whatever. A phrase I hear often is, "That's too young for me."
Right.
Anytime someone says to me, "That's too young for me," I go, "Who told you that?"
Right.
That's what I say. I'm like, "But why?"
You know what? I'm going to twist it. I guess it's not even young or old. For me, it's more, it's probably we're using that, but really it's not, there's a sophistication level of certain things that I would have worn when I was 20, but it's just not my look. It's just something like a cutoff denim skirt that's super, super short. It's just, there's like and it has nothing to do with the fact that it's short. I wear short things. I show my legs. Like it's not, but it's just certain things it's a sophistication level I'm going to go with. It's not really age, I guess. But I think we think of it as, I would have done that. True. I would have done that when I was younger. And so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on that, I think.
I agree with you. And I think it has to do with, a print or a bright color.
Right.
Or maybe things that just feel a little unconventional. And I think that's a mold that needs to be broken, because I do think that there's that kind of idea of like, as you were saying, as you like get older, you need to.
There are rules. Yes.
And be sophisticated.
Yes.
But I totally disagree.
Yeah. It's almost like we should be saying it's just not in my comfort zone, but it's not really. Is it really about age? Like, I don't know if it is, but maybe we use that as.
That's an excuse.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will say, you are someone who wears like prints and colors and different layers so well. For people who might be a little color shy, what's your best tip for putting yourself out there?
I've been surrounded by color for as long as, again, I go back to interiors. So I grew up, my grandmother, the entire first floor was painted dark, dark, dark green. So like That's a lot. It's a bold, dark green. She had like colored oriental rugs and like the like table skirts that had paisley. So there was I grew up around a lot of color, layering, pattern. I would almost say to start off with pale colors that go with neutrals. So, if it's a gray suit, maybe it's a gray lavender sweater that still feels kind of monochromatic, but it's sort of moving you into color, just like a hint. Baby steps. I would say baby steps for color.
Totally agree.
Right? Like just keep
would
it
say it's
like
a
pale blue.
t-shirt or a sweater
Yep.
that you're like layering under something. So it's not the whole moment. It's
Not
just
the whole
like a
moment.
key.
And maybe not high contrast. I feel like maybe that's part of it. If it's super high, it's like maybe someone who's really color averse, don't go get a red sweater to wear with white jeans. Maybe just, a very pale color so you still feel like you're in your zone. Slow step it. So be my advice.
I like this kind of story about exposure therapy, as I was saying earlier, that, being in these settings that had like bright colors and prints and mixing and matching was very inspirational for you
Yeah.
growing into, the fashion person that you are today. Is there something specific that you think has been most helpful through your life in refining your taste and finding what's true to you?
Trial and error. Just trying. Like it doesn't always land. I mean, I look back on things that I've worn in the past and I would never wear it, but I tried it. So now I know. I mean, I think it's just having some fun with it and not being too risk averse. It's not that deep. It's something that you can try and fail. I mean, fail. What does that even mean? It's not your favorite. Moving on. So I think just a little bit of trial and error. I definitely, in my 20s, I feel like I was very up on some of the trend, very cognizant of different trends and loved to kind of like hop on things quickly. But I always had such a like kind of classic base underneath it. So it never went too far, even if I wanted it to.
Saying it's not that deep is something that I've been trying to say to myself every morning when I'm getting dressed every day. It's like, I'm not changing the world. Joan Rivers isn't stationed outside of my house. It's going to be fine.
It's going to be fine.
Not your best hit. It's fine if it's not your favorite.
It's fine. It's fine.
Put on something that feels good and walk out the door.
Yeah.
And even if you do something that isn't, you're going to look back and be like, why did I walk out of the house like that?
But
you had to try it. You had to try it. You can't knock it until you try it. So you might as well just try it.
That's right. Just try it. Just go for it. I mean, it's so funny because I had I call it the pillow skirt. Do you remember? It's Prada, the white. It literally is a short.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. And I still love it. And I stand by it. And I'm going to wear it this winter again. Oh my God. They could not.
They were violent.
It was a violent reaction. But here's the thing. I'd rather have a reaction than just nothing at all. Like, that's great. Like, so it sparked something.
Nothing.
Yes. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, what? Yeah.
That pillow skirt still going strong. I love it. I feel like the pillow skirt slowly evolved into like the hoop skirt.
Yes. Agreed.
And a lot of like the wire.
Agreed. That is so observant of you. Of course, you would know this, but that's such a good observation. I'm bringing it. I'm wearing it.
Good.
And everyone can lose it.
The hemlines are changing. The hemlines are constantly evolving. We love it.
Yes. Yeah.
Are there any other trends that you love right now?
I can't believe I really did like the bag charms that were everywhere. And I really did love them. And I never thought that I would.
Talking about this.
I didn't think I would love bag charms, but I really did. I really did.
Do you have any?
Oh, yeah.
On your bag?
Oh, yeah. I don't have it on now because I have a clutch, but I do. A Diener Raider makes like a very calm, tasteful, a sweet one that I have. But then I also got I have a Miu Miu one that I had a little while ago. And I actually wore it when I was in Copenhagen. But who knew that one was not enough? One charm.
I think there's an art form to like the layering of the charms.
100%.
Just one charm.
No.
You're telling a story.
You are.
It's a story.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a story. And I love things that have a story. That's another thing with I think fashion or, again, interiors, I love when there's a story. I love when there's some meaning in there. Like it adds some, it's like, it just holds for me. So,
I don't think you can do the bag charms wrong.
and it's just a fun thing for people to have. Like for some, again, someone who's maybe a little risk averse in their clothing, you can do that and you can have a little, fun with your fashion. Not so serious.
I really love your relationship with Ella and the way that you guys bond over fashion and how it's such an integral part of your platform.
Yeah.
How do you think that, intergenerational fashion has brought you guys closer? It's so sweet. And honestly, I think it's one of my favorite things to see on Instagram. It's not something you see often.
No, I think it's interesting. I mean, obviously, like we've gotten opportunities to do things that we would have never been able to do. So that's just a given. We've gotten to travel. We've gotten to do photo shoots. That's just amazing. But I think what's interesting is almost this weird concept that if you're a teenager, you hate your mom and it's not something you don't have a good relationship, or if you do, it's almost embarrassing. You don't really voice that. And that was something that came out of doing some of the videos. There's a lot of people saying, okay, I used to kind of like my mom's actually I'm really close to my mom, or my mom's actually my best friend. I talk to her all the time, but I didn't want to tell anyone that because that's not very cool sounding. And you guys are making me feel like that's okay, that I actually am really close to my mom. Or unfortunately, on the flip side too, there's I really wish I had a relationship like this with my mom, but it's inspired me that I'm going to have a really good relationship with my kids. So that's been fabulous come out of it. But she and I mean, we're tight. It doesn't matter if we did this or not. She's like my favorite person to hang out with.
I love that. Fashion is very important to my mom and I too. It definitely was like our first bonding point. I have like all my fondest childhood memories were sitting in her like closet room on like the chaise and just watching her get dressed.
Totally.
Like, it was deeply informative to the way I get dressed today.
Yes, absolutely.
And there was like one designer that she loved so much when I was growing up, and I ended up wearing that designer at my wedding and like paying homage to her.
Oh my gosh.
I think fashion between mother and daughters can really be a language if you let it.
Absolutely.
It's funny, we have like a manicurist come to my house once a month, and she'll do both of our nails, and she's always like, the only thing you two talk about is clothes and fashion. And I'm like, because
it's your language.
It's our love language between each other.
Yes.
So I think it really can be if you let it. It's really special.
We also have astrology as a love language for us. Ella is deeply involved in astrology, so that becomes a bit of a love language that my husband's like, can you stop talking? It's not because they're a Scorpio, okay? That's not why they're doing whatever it is.
I get that a lot. I have a lot of like things, and people will be like, oh, so Aquarius.
Is that
a jab or a compliment? I don't know. I'm going to leave it there.
Exactly.
Just right there.
No, that's it. Yeah.
Whenever we close the show, we always ask one question, which is that if you were able to change anything in fashion right now, what would it be?
I wish I could slow it down. I feel like it's too fast. It's like the beauty of social media is that you have so many people who can be out there. Again, I would never have been, that would never have happened. At 50, you suddenly are doing this. Brands wouldn't have been hiring me, whatever. So there's the plus of that, right? You're reaching, anyone can get on there. But it's just, there's so much and it's so fast. Like I do miss having a magazine that I would get once a month and pour through, and it's sort of this. I did see a stat. You know that data, but make it fashion. Do you know that account?
I'm obsessed with her. And
oh my gosh. Okay. Well,
I'm such a fan of what she does. She's so smart, Harvard educated.
I love it.
Is really just, I think, giving a very different perspective into fashion that I don't see anywhere else.
I love it. But she had something on there recently that I saw that it was basically people are buying more, but they're wearing their clothes less.
That makes sense.
And that is sort of because there's so much so fast that you kind of feel, oh, I do like that. Oh, I like that. I like that. It's just so what I want is never, I can't do, but if I could, I would slow this down a little, this train down. But, this season, I'm wearing a lot of stuff from last season and trying to I'm not trying to educate anyone. That's not what I'm here for. But it's just sort of like, listen, I'm showing you like I'm wearing this stuff and I'm repeat wearing. So if you got this suit or whatever, you got this bag, here it is again. And that's the part about it's there's no link because it's not in here anymore. But for people who have been following for a while, or if they had something like it, just to see it's not all new every, second.
Long live the Prada pillow skirt.
Long live Prada. And I'm going to think of you when I wear her next because I'm going to pull her
Can't
out
wait
soon.
to see the OOTD of it. Honestly, I think this is one of my favorite episodes I've
Oh.
done in a very long time.
I
You are truly one of my, you are a bright spot for me
Oh.
on Instagram. And I'm so grateful that you journeyed from home.
Oh my gosh. Of course.
This happened.
I would never have missed this. That was so
I really
exciting.
hope that we can meet IRL soon.
Yes, I would love that. I would love that. Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.